If your eyes are a window to your soul, are your expressions a window to your mind? I'm Tonya Hall for ZDNet and Tech Republic, and joining me is Rana el Kaliouby. She is the co-founder and CEO of Affectiva. Welcome, Rana.
Thank you for having me.
What work does Affectiva do?
So we are on a mission to humanize technology. We basically want to build artificial emotional intelligence, technology that can read and respond to your emotions, your cognitive states, by analyzing your face as well as your voice.
What is AI and why does AI need emotion?
AI is this concept of artificial intelligence where we're trying to simulate different aspects of human intelligence. And it's becoming mainstream, right? It's penetrating every aspect of our lives. It's taking on roles that were traditionally done by humans. And AI is helping us do things faster, more efficiently, and maybe even helping us be healthier and happier. What we're finding is that we're forging this kind of new partnership between AI and humans, and it really needs to be based on trust. And a fundamental element of this trust is building emotional intelligence or understanding of humans, right? If you're building computers that are going to interface and interact with humans on a day-to-day basis, they really need to be able to understand us. So we're on a mission to build technology that can really truly understand human beings. We believe that that's very important.
What do we need to do to gain that human understanding? What human characteristics are important in creating emotional intelligence?
Yeah, humans communicate emotions in a number of ways through your facial expressions, through your voice, your gestures. So at Affectiva, we use deep learning, machine learning, and tons of data to train algorithms to recognize different states. So for instance, we feed it tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of examples of people smiling or smirking or frowning or laughing. And the algorithms then learn kind of what is common between all the smiles and what's common between all the frowns. And it slowly but surely learns to identify these different states of, different human states.
How can the technology detecting emotion on a much more personal level impact your health?
Yeah, this is one of the cases or the applications of the technology that I'm particularly passionate about. The very first use case I explored while I was back at MIT was around building devices that could help individuals on the autism spectrum understand nonverbal signals. So people on the spectrum really struggle with understanding the emotion states of others, and by kind of building technology that can do that for them, it can give them real-time feedback. It helps them really learn about these different signals. So that's one use case around health. If you imagine how every time we use our devices, it's an opportunity to take an emotional health checkpoint, right? This device can soon know your baseline, and if you start deviating from it, for instance, in the case of depression, it can flag that to you personally or to a physician or a doctor and get you the help you need. So I think there's a lot of applications around mental health for this technology.
Mental health is an important topic and is something that we continue to need to address. Would there be scores around where you land in the mental health chart? I mean, how would we track mental health, and who would actually store this information and have access to it?
These are all good questions. When you walk into a doctor's office today, they don't ask you for your temperature or your blood pressure. They just measure it, right? It's a very kind of objective data point that they can capture. But with mental health, the gold standard is still a survey on a scale from 1 to 10. How depressed are you? Or scale from 1 to 10, how suicidal are you? Or how much pain are you in? And it's very subjective data. And we can do better. So with emotion AI technology, you can track over time people's health and wellness biomarkers, everything from your vocal biomarkers, facial biomarkers, even physiological biomarkers, and get a true sense of where that person is on a health, on a mental health scale. With regards to who owns the data, that's a big question. There's a lot of data privacy concerns, of course. It's very personal data. I'm a true believer that the person who's sharing that data should have access to that information. So I'll say that, that's an important starting point.
So you've mentioned some, and we've just kind of edged around the ethical implications here.
Mhm.
What about a score? I mean, if you have a score, would you foresee that somebody would have access to changing their score? I mean, it sounds like it could potentially be built, and you don't have any control over it.
I would actually, I don't see it being built into a score. I think, your emotional state and your well-being is a dynamic, it's a temporal signal. It changes depending on how, what happened during the course of the day, what happened during the course of the week, who you're interacting with. So it's really a journey. It's more of a journey. And we are on a mission to quantify that journey, and make that data available, with your consent and your permission, of course, for the right applications or the right use cases.
So you talked earlier about autism. How do you expect this type of technology to help people who are on the autism scale?
One of the really exciting applications of this technology is helping kids on the autism spectrum. We are partnered with a company called BrainPower. They use Google Glass combined with our technology to develop games for autistic kids. And it gives them real-time feedback. So if they're trying to elicit smiles or learn what a smile looks like, once they get it right, it's gamified, so they get points, etc. It also encourages them to do face and eye contact. A lot of these kids avoid looking at the face altogether, and they're often like staring, at the ground or at the ceiling. But again, this kind of device encourages them to make face contact, and we've seen a lot of very positive results from that technology.
Where do you see the next step for facial recognition and artificial intelligence and detecting emotion? What's next?
There are a lot of applications. One area that we are particularly focused on is in automotive. So we're partnering with automakers to specifically drive, or identify unsafe driving. So, like as people are texting while driving, they're distracted, they're not looking at the road. If people are tired and they're falling asleep, we can detect indicators of drowsiness, maybe even detect indicators of intoxication, or cognitive overload when, your kids are fighting in the back seats, and, the Google Maps is yapping at you, and like there's somebody on the phone, it's just like cognitively overloading. We are able to identify these different cognitive states, and the car can alert the driver in real time and intervene in ways that makes for a safer driving environment.
Sounds like a very interesting and personal future. Rana el Kaliouby, CEO and co-founder of Affectiva. If somebody wants to connect with you, maybe they want to find out more about the work that you're doing, how should they go about doing that?
I am very easy to find. You can always tweet at me at Kaliouby, Kaliouby, or feel free to email me at rana@affectiva.com.
Thanks again. And if you guys want to find more of my interviews, you can do that right here on ZDNet or Tech Republic, or maybe go to my website, tonyahall.net. I've got links to all my social sites. Thanks for watching.